Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth from Elpis Astrology at elpisastrology.com. Thanks for joining me today. So this is going to be my video for September 2024 for the astrology, and then later on in the video I will do your ascendants and or sun signs. I would say you should watch and listen to both. So this is just a reminder for those folks that are going to be in San Diego on Friday the 13th of September. I will be giving a lecture on Mercury, Venus, and Mars retrogrades and what they mean in your own personal chart. The lecture I will be giving will be around 7 p.m. at the San Diego Astrological Society. I'm going to put all the details below to where it's located, but it's sort of central location in the Hillcrest area, if you know that. So the kind of energies that are happening in September really revolve around this full moon eclipse that's going to be happening in Pisces mid-month. I'll get into the details in a minute. And then the other big thing is that Mars, except for the first few days of September, Mars will be in Cancer almost the whole month. And I think that's going to set a big tone for us as well, especially on the worldwide stage, probably related to politics. I'll get to that in a minute. But hey, we start off the month with the new moon in Virgo on the 2nd of September at 6:57 p.m., and that's Pacific Daylight Time, at 11 Virgo 4 minutes. So we know a new moon has the moon and the sun together. So really, when we look at Virgo as a sign, and then the new part of it being the new moon, we're really talking about here a new beginning in all things that are Virgo. This is service of some sort. This could be health, a new start in our health. It can also be a new start with regards to unearthing important information, right? Virgo is all about that too. So I mean, that's a general theme with Virgo itself. So there's new starts in these areas. You have to look at what house this falls in. And in particular, if you do have something, say, around that, let's just say 10, 11, 12 degrees of Virgo. And if you do have your sun or your ascendant around those degrees, this is a whole new start to the year itself, right? The newness lasts for the whole birthday year for you. So having said that, I do want to wish a happy birthday to all my clients and all my viewers, but also to my brother Philip. And to my lovely husband, Noah, happy birthday. So let's get into the details of this new moon. We have a few things going on. We've got and this is an ongoing sort of trend or theme. We've got Neptune kind of at the final degree of Pisces, and then Pluto at this time now will be at 29 degrees of Capricorn. And of course, this will be the last time in all of our lifetime that we will ever have Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn. Once we get into mid-November time period, it will go, that's Pluto, completely into Aquarius. But this sextile brings up an opportunity really to work, to inspire people, to give us hope. That's that Neptune part. And the Pluto part is for powerful change, right? Or to see the truth. Both Jupiter and Pluto can be involved in the truth. But Pluto in particular likes to reveal that. And with a sextile, it's a pleasant way. It gives you an opportunity to discover the truth, right? And so both these are at the anaretic degree, which is the 29 degree. So it's kind of bringing these energies to a head. But like I said, this is an ongoing theme. It's not just at this new moon, but it is at this new moon too. We have Venus conjunct the South Node. So this says to me that basically Venus is a big attractor, and I'm thinking that this Venus is attracting the opportunity to let go of some things. So I would say, generally speaking, at this new moon, it's giving us opportunities here to transform things, to be inspired by things, and most importantly, to maybe let go of some things as well. Now, like I said, Mars will be in Cancer most of the month, but at this new moon on the 2nd of September, it is still in Gemini. And so Mars in Gemini will be squaring Neptune in Pisces. And so here we're talking about challenges because it's a square. And I think something like this will certainly play out on the stage and probably in politics. And how is that going to be? Well, it's frustrations for sure. And also potentially disruptions of some sort. But the Neptune part of that square with Mars really brings in deception, active deception going on here. And that's what this actually says, probably through things that are Gemini. So that's what? Through any writing, through any communications. And this could include watching the news, for instance, or reading a newspaper, or reading something or watching something on the internet. But these are not pleasant interactions. These are meant to be deceptive, right? Now, we're going to have Jupiter having a wide square with Saturn. And this is also happening at this beginning of September. And I would say this is a difficult aspect. I see, in this particular instance, I see Jupiter representing the law, and maybe literally laws, because Jupiter is in Gemini. Square Saturn, Saturn represents the rules and regulation. So to me, this says there's going to be some challenges coming here with regards to rules and regulations and laws that exist. I'm not sure exactly how this will play out. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is challenging. This is challenging the existing laws. And again, I think this will play out on the world stage. Saturn can also represent karma, and it can also represent time. So it may also, on a sort of generalized sense, somehow something starts coming forward that tells us that it's time, that it's time maybe to make some kind of adjustments with regards to rules and regulations that we are living under. Now, the other thing is Saturn can literally represent structures or structure. And with Jupiter squaring it, it says to me there could be a possibility here of some probably well-known structure maybe coming down for some reason. But this could also play out and be generalized to, those in power, those holding on to the power, have to release it. They're forced to release their power. Jupiter can also represent travel, international type affairs. So there could be also, again, playing out on the world stage, there could be great difficulties to bring people together. I mean, we already know that's ongoing. I'm making this towards just sort of the beginning of August time period. So lots will be playing out even before this particular transit happens, but it's not the first time. We'll have other times where we'll have Jupiter square Saturn too. So it really says there's going to be some challenges, I think, on the international stage with regards to people in power at the moment holding the rules and the regulations. We have Uranus, which will be still, of course, in Taurus, and it will be providing kind of a wide, I guess, sextile with Neptune. And then, of course, trine to Pluto. I see this as an excellent aspect. So there could be some beneficial, favorable shakeups here with regards to, seeing the truth, being inspired, maybe spiritual aspects of ourselves. If you've got, say, something between the 27-degree and 29-degree point with regards to, now we're looking at the signs here, Taurus, Capricorn, and Pisces. There could be some very creative type of energy going on where we're inspired to seek out the truth, but this also helps enlighten us. So I think this new moon is going to bring about some dramatic new pieces of information that help us all understand the truth of what's going on. Yeah, so generally speaking, I think it's a pretty good new moon, except for that Jupiter square Saturn. But like I said, that's not the first time. It'll happen a couple other times too. All right, so when we move on to the 7th of September, we have Mercury square Uranus at 27 degrees. And so this really is, I would say, let me just see where Mercury, where it actually is in the, yeah, so that will be, Mercury will be in Leo. So, you know, Mercury in Leo, this is a flamboyant type energy, an energy of wanting to have fun. And so at its best, it could be just opportunities to enjoy ourselves during the summer months. But the square really says it's upsetting. And again, this is probably going to be on the world stage, upsetting information that comes to light. And if we look at Leo, Leo can represent literally kings and queens. So we could have some announcements from any sort of monarchy or equivalent that's maybe surprising. And it's like, wow, I didn't see that coming. But it also can have something to do with children. So there may be some kind of news with regards to children here that shakes us up and or provides enlightenment. But it's something we're going to have to, you know, it's going to be challenges. We're going to have to actually work with this energy. Yeah. All right, so when we look at the couple next days after that, the 8th and 9th of September, we have the Sun will be in Virgo, and it will be sextiling Saturn in Pisces. Beautiful setup. This is taking important information and having the opportunity to make something of it, to make it real. And so, you know, the Sun is the most important luminary in the chart that you look at. So I would say this is a positive influence of facts that are important for us to know, to come to light. That's what I would say that 8th, 9th September is. All right, let's move on to the full moon eclipse in Pisces. Let's get the details down, and then I'm going to talk about what I think this means and what it initiates. So on the 17th of September at 7:33 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, we will have this full moon eclipse at 25 degrees of Pisces and 40 minutes. Now, I did make a video about this eclipse. I put the links below. I would suggest that you look at it. I'm going to give a lot more detail in my video than I am going to here. But I really feel that, especially if you've got, say, something around the 25 degree mark of Pisces and or 25 of Virgo. I mean, we can take other signs too, but for real effects, I look at conjunctions and oppositions, to be honest. Doesn't mean there can't be other effects there too. But I would say that if you do have something like this personally, these degree points, pay attention to what comes up. It doesn't have to be something bad or unpleasant, but do pay attention to what comes up here, because this is going to indicate the areas and or the themes that will carry through a little more clearly once we have the north nodes of the moon go into Pisces, which will be mid-January 2025. I've made a video about this too. Links below suggest that you look at it, especially if you've got, say, you're going to have your north nodal return happen at this time. That video will give you a lot more details. So the other thing that's going to happen is that next year in 2025, in September, you are also going to have sort of a compatible or a companion eclipse. And it's going to be in Virgo, though, at 24 degrees. So whatever turns up here, especially if you've got the degree points that I've mentioned highlighted in your chart somehow, there's going to be more meaning played out for that. Now, when we talk about the north nodes going into Pisces mid-January 2025, we know that for the next 18 months from mid-January onwards, we're going to have the north nodes in Pisces, a big change, right? Now, this full moon eclipse has the moon conjunct Neptune. And so I would say that, the moon conjunct Neptune, and then, of course, we're going to have the sun will have that in an opposition, right? Just that setup alone is not necessarily something I'm going to have a big party about or be happy about, because I think that whole Neptune thing, again, is going to be bringing in so much deception. And although it's a full moon eclipse, these eclipses can bring in both new beginnings and endings. We like to talk about full moons as being endings or big, spotlights put on an area of our lives. And indeed, that probably will happen. The other thing that happens is that we have Venus will be opposite Chiron. So Venus will be in Libra. That's the sign it rules. And Libra can represent the law at this time. I think, personal feeling is, again, this is going to play out on the world stage. And I think it's going to be some kind of big legal announcement of some big legal spotlight put on something, and I think it's going to be on deception. I don't think it's going to be the higher aspects of Neptune, which is the spirituality and agape love. Although it doesn't mean it can't, especially if you've got something like this in your chart. This could be a monumental time for you to develop your spirituality. But on the world stage, I see this as deception being brought to light big time with the eclipse. And then this, of course, whatever comes up at this time on the world stage, will be played out in more detail once we get the North Nodes going into Pisces for 18 months, starting in mid-January 2025. With the Venus opposite Chiron, Venus is an attractor. It likes to soften things. It likes to make things sweet. So I think opposite Chiron, it's going to sweeten this full moon eclipse effects in the sense that it's going to make you feel a little bit better with regards to whatever comes up at this time. And again, this I think is going to play out with regards to the law of some sort or laws of some sort. It could pertain to women as well. And it could also, pertain to a specific woman that brings great healing, on the world stage. Let me just see where Venus is at so my viewers will know. So Venus is at almost 24 degrees at this full moon. So if you do have something around that, there could be some big healing energy put in for you on an individual level. But like I said, a world stage, I think this is going to be bringing to light some legal matter of some sort that I think, even though it's an opposition, will bring in some kind of healing to us on the world stage kind of axis. All right, so let's move on to the next day. That's going to be the 18th. So this effect that I'm going to talk about next is really going to be in operation also at the full moon. So this is Mercury in Virgo, sextiling Saturn. Or actually, Mercury in Virgo is going to be opposing Saturn in Pisces. And so this is some hard facts come to light here that those in power, those that, either initiate or develop, legal type stuff, especially rules and regulations and laws, there's going to be some challenges here where, there's going to be some information put forward that challenges what's going on here. And I'm thinking, although the Supreme Court technically will not be back in session till early October, and I think it may be around the 7th of October as opposed to the 2nd, but I'm not sure. Maybe they'll come back early. I think it's like the first Wednesday or something in October they come back. But I'm just getting intuitively that this is the Supreme Court. And there's some challenges with regards to important information coming up. So that comes from Mercury, information, And then the Virgo part, which of course is important information, right? When we look at 22nd of September, we have that Sun at 29 degrees of Virgo, trining Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn. Well, this is awesome. Truly, truly awesome. And so this is powerful people. The Sun, generally speaking, has always been looked at as men working together. Like, right, we've got that trine. And so I would say there's going to be some monumental conclusion that comes as a result of people, probably men, certainly people of power, working together to transform things, you know. Yeah, that's a very powerful aspect, that 22nd of September. And if you do have something, say, around the 29 degree of either Virgo and or Pluto, this could be a very favorable day for you to win the attention of maybe those in power above you. It can also be a time of great truths being shown to you, but in a good way, right? And some people may come into power at this time. I mean, I don't think there's anything due right now around the 22nd of September, but there could be somewhere in the world something like that happens too. All right, the next day on the 23rd of September, we have Venus, now at 29 degrees of Libra, squaring Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So on the heels of this positive energy on the 22nd, we then bump into, and this is the law, there's going to be some kind of thing that comes up around the 23rd of September that is going to probably cause some people some consternation and unhappiness. And I think this is, you know, Lady Liberty, the law, probably decreeing something, saying this is the way it is. I'm putting down my gavel here and telling you this is what's going to happen. But it's not going to be something people are going to want to accept right away. It's going to be challenging. Now, on the 25th of September, we have Mercury at 27 degrees of Virgo, nicely trining Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus. And so this is awesome energy. So sandwiched in between that kind of not so great Venus square Pluto transit, we've got two very nice transits, right? And so this Mercury, I say, represents important information. The trine says it's positive, favorable energy, and Uranus just says it's unexpected. So maybe as a result of something negative happening and powerful happening on the 23rd of September, by the time we leave it for a few days to the 25th, that turns around and important information comes in unexpectedly in a very positive way, right? So that's how I think this may play out, that 23rd to 25th. It seems maybe something's insurmountable, then you leave it, and a couple days later, boom, it all gets resolved unexpectedly. On the 28th and 29th of September, we have Venus squaring the north nodes. And so this is just us, generally speaking. And I put this back to both women, and I put it back to money markets, or money, generally speaking, has some challenges here with regards to their future. You know, there's issues brought up 28th, 29th September around these things that affect our future that we need to work on, you know, that we need to put some effort into to make them right. On the 30th of September, we have Mars in Cancer, trining Saturn in Pisces. Well, what a beautiful way to end September. Now, I think this whole Mars in Cancer really represents, especially if I generalize it to the USA, which is a Cancer country, it really speaks to, I think, some positive new rules and regulations, positive new structure that is put in place in the country itself. The thing is about Mars in Cancer, it's not really compatible with Cancer in the sense of Cancer likes to have everything cozy and comfortable, safe and secure. And Mars represents, literally can represent the military, aggression, assertion, just energy, right? Moving forward, let's get on with this type of energy. So there may be just a big push here to put some new structure in place, and these may be things like rules and regulations in the US for some reason at the end of September. But we're also going to have at this time Mercury conjunct the Sun in Libra at the end of September, but it also goes into that first day of October too. And so this says to me some kind of conclusion of some sort regarding, I would say here again, because both of these are in Libra, I'm translating this as the law. So some wrap-up's going to happen, and it's going to be announced regarding some maybe legal case, and there's a lot of them out there, certainly in the USA, with one person notably. Okay, I think that I just want to go back to this whole Mars in Cancer, which is the first few days of September. Mars will be in Gemini, but then you can look at Mars in Cancer for the rest of the month. And to me, this just, I can just bring up a general energy of assertiveness and aggressiveness in the home. And so I would just say, especially if you've got, say, something yourself, say you've got your own Mars here or some other planet, I would say just, take a breath in and out before you react to something, right? But I think generally in the USA, there's going to be a lot of argumentative type and aggressive type energy. Now, this could play out as military too. I don't intuitively think it is, but there is that possibility that the military will have to come in for some reason. And maybe that's going to be around the eclipse time period or just before that, right? But generally speaking, it does speak to aggression, frustration in the home, in the country, in your homeland, right? And it can refer to, safety and security, where you feel you have to protect yourself. All right. I'm just going to talk a tiny bit about J.D. Vance. I'm not going to go into details about all his chart. But he has some pretty serious things in his astrology coming up. And he's not alone. It's going to be in his generation too. But I think in particular, he's got this Jupiter, transiting Jupiter right now, is in Gemini, and it's in his 10th house. And, I always talk about, generally speaking, Jupiter is a positive influence, and indeed it is. But you can twist this energy as well. And you have to be careful about bragging and exaggerating, especially in your career. And so this is something that could be ongoing for him. Basically, all the time that Jupiter is in Gemini, because that's mostly his 10th house. But the other big thing he's got coming up here is from September to mid-November is he's got transiting Pluto squaring his natal Pluto. And it doesn't mean this is the end of the world for this type of transit, but it is very challenging. And it's power challenging power, right? So it's like your power is being challenged. And his Pluto, so that Pluto falls, the transiting Pluto falls in his 6th house. But his Pluto is in the 3rd house. And so I would take great care with any kind of communications, right? Whatever you do day to day, that's the 6th house. That's where transiting Pluto will be in his chart. Squares his Pluto in his 3rd house. So this says to me, take great care with regards to any kind of communications, even your thoughts, because all these could come up for some big challenges right up to mid-November 2024 for him. He also has transiting Uranus, squaring his natal Venus and natal ascendant, and an opposition to his natal Mars in the 4th house. And again, these are squares, right? Uranus is upsets. So there's going to be upsets for him in his career. So right now, Uranus, transiting Uranus, is in his 10th house. And it's not far off his midheaven. And so I think, again, prepare yourself for unexpected changes coming your way. And this effect lasts for a long time. I mean, if we look at, let's just look at the full moon where Uranus, what degree point it's at 27 degrees. But it's going retrograde, and it does go back to 23 degrees. Well, his midheaven is at 22 degrees. So he's due to probably have some ongoing shakeups that'll be, viewed by everybody. Ongoing shakeups to his reputation, to his career because it's in the 10th house, and, his social standing. All right, well, I just wanted to cover for those that were interested in it. And, I'm going to just end there. We can talk about more of it on comments if you want to say anything, but some people are interested in this, some people are not, and I'm fine. I'm fine either way. So when we take a quick peek at October 2024, we have another eclipse happening. But this time, it's going to be on the 2nd of October, and it will be in Libra. We're also going, and it'll be a new moon. We're going to have a full moon in Aries in October, and Pluto will continue its stay at 29 degrees of Capricorn. All right, let's move on to look at your sun sign and or ascendant. I say watch or listen to both. And I also want to say a big hello to all my Spotify and audio listeners as well. I appreciate all your listening. So Sagittarius, that new moon in Virgo, and the full moon in Pisces, eclipse, squares you. Now the first one, the new moon in Virgo, squares your 10th house. But remember, ongoing at this time, Sagittarius, you also have Jupiter and Mars in Gemini, and it will be opposing your sign. And so there may be some kind of unexpected good luck comes your way as well as a result of this square, especially with the new moon itself. Jupiter, generally speaking, can bring in some lucky, fortunate things for you. And, with Mars in the mix with Jupiter, this could be fortunate action. So there may be some Sagittarians that say, I'm leaving this job. And it works out for you because you've got that cushion of your ruler, Jupiter, with Mars in Gemini opposing your sign. For others, and I've talked about this before, a new moon squaring your 10th house just could be for those Sagittarians that have taken on, say, a new job of some sort or literally started a new career. This can just be that adjustment time period where, everything seems to take a little bit longer, that you have to put in at least 6 months into a new career, a new job to get the hang of it. And it could just be as simple as that. So I always say with squares, just put effort in. I would also seek out any mentors or advisors that maybe can help you, because that, what I talked about, the whole Jupiter and Mars together in Gemini, Jupiter can represent an advisor, a mentor, or even a teacher too, right? So they could come in here to help you. It's not all bad energy. There could also be just some kind of new start. Virgo is all about getting the important facts, right? So important facts may come to light with regards to your career that you have to incorporate. When I was in the corporate world, many times we would have takeovers. And they were always a little bit, made you uneasy. But I learned to just adjust to it. What is it they're expecting me to do? What new things do I have to do? Or what things do I have to let go of to effectively now work in my career? So there may be some Sagittarius that face that type of thing too with that square. When we look at that full moon eclipse in Pisces, that's squaring your 4th house. Now, at that time, you also have Venus in Libra, and Venus in Libra sextiles Sagittarius. So whatever does come up in that 4th house at that eclipse, Venus is going to be taking off a little bit of the edge of that, right? And in particular, females may be very important. Now, this could just be something like something blows up at home. You know, something happens with your family that's challenging for you. It could also be literally something happens with regards to your home. There might be some people that at that eclipse buy a home at this time. And then it's, you know, it's to me, I'm just getting this caveat emptor. And it basically means, you know, buyer beware. So I would just say for those Sagittarians that are maybe buying and or selling homes around that, the full moon eclipse especially, so that's around the 17th of September. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go ahead and do it, especially if you started many weeks prior the process. But I would say make sure you check all the details. And if you're not sure about anything, ask and check it out. Maybe double check it out at this time. This could bring up some surprise because eclipses are, you know, wild cards with regards to your mother or any family member at this time as well. Maybe something comes out of the blue, something comes to light that you weren't expecting. That's going to require some effort on your part. But like I said, you've got that Venus in Libra sextiling your sign. And it's going to be sextiling your 11th house, Sagittarius. So to me, I would say whatever difficulties come up, turn to your friends and the groups you belong to. They're going to be favorably wanting to help you. They're going to be of benefit to you. But watch out for females to be instrumental in helping you out here. It's not all going to be up to you, right? Take care, Sagittarius. All right, folks, that wraps up my astrology for September 2024. I hope everybody is enjoying their summer and having some fun out there. If you are not having fun, get that calendar out and start marking some days where you are going to have some fun. That's important. We all work very hard, and I think it's important to take breaks too, right? But I'm sending everybody lots of love, lots of inspiration for great things to happen in September for you. And we will see you again in October. Bye for now. So I'd just like to remind all my viewers and clients of my services. You can find them on my website, of course, and all the details of that are below. But I do a tarot combo astrology reading for $50. It's my only pre-recorded one, unless specifically a client asks for me to pre-record a Zoom call for them. But I do other things too. I can do your just your transits and progress chart for this birthday year. As an option, I can do a full-on horoscope look at all your astrology, including an in-depth analysis of your natal astrology and then progress charts, and then all the transits on top of that. I can do that as well. So check me out. As I said, I've got all my details below. Send me an email with your birth details and a question or area of life that you're interested in me focusing on. I do a Zoom video, whether it's pre-recorded or live, with you to go over all these details